Ngonzi, we will start with the headlines. MPs demand for government-owned driving school. HIV/AIDS advocates decried stagnating prevalence. Welcome engineer Winnie Byanyima. On the international scene, UK Prime Minister says backstop must be scrapped. And in sports, Prison's athletics team leave for All Africa Games in Morocco. Hello once again. Magalu Mohammed joins us on sign language. The number of dead people reported in Rubirizi fuel tank accident is raised to 30. Legislators demand government an intervention to help the affected persons. Now, during plenary at Parliament, the Deputy Speaker was concerned of poor location of petrol stations in the country. Ivan Kawa reports.
What is their plan about that road? What is the...
Members of Parliament are proposing an investigation into travel companies of buses that have claimed lives of Ugandans in the past weeks. At least close to 10 people are reported dead and several injured in the accident that occurred where a taxi rammed into a bus along Mbale Tirinyi Road.
My prayer is that these buses that have cost lives because of reckless driving. My prayer is that they must compensate and treat the victims because they are not the ones who want to get those accidents. It is the drivers who were reluctant, who were reckless.
Legislators questioned how driving permits are issued and how traffic is managed on Ugandan roads, though government is yet to have a clear position on the matter.
The traffic, Right Honourable Speaker, has increased tremendously. But the aspect of planning and directing this traffic on the roads constructively is missing.
We have no training institution for drivers, instructors. And the Minister of Works must explain why that is the situation. Because those private, we may not be relying on only private driving schools. We need an institution of government that can be sure of the quality of drivers that we put on the road.
There are so many factors driving these accidents on the road. They range from the way people are trained to drive, they range from the designs of the road, they range from financing of the institutions that are required to do the work.
Furthermore, from June 2019, 2 tanks exploded in Lira and Inaria respectively, and on the 18th of this month, about 30 people are reported dead after a fuel tank burst into flames at Chambura Trading Center in Rubirizi.
Those who survived in the accident, they were rushed to KIU and Barara hospitals because in Rubirizi we don't have any hospital. And Health Center 4 we have, it is faced with so many challenges.
For the immediate situations which need our attention, we will ask the Minister for Disaster Preparedness to attend to these issues tomorrow morning, and then we'll continue to report to the House.
The fire brigade from Uganda Police, Madam Speaker, should also be equipped and on standby for such incidents. The government should come up with a policy and rules that provides for the quickest rescue on such photo accidents.
The matter has called for queries into the location of petrol stations across the country.
Some are located in residential areas, others are next to schools, others are next to hospitals. Madam Speaker, this is a time bomb which is going to cause us greatly.
The case in Lira, at least 23 motorcycles were banned, Madam Speaker, and nobody has come out to compensate them. The owner of the fuel tanker is just fooling them around and is saying he will only compensate them if the insurance company also compensates him.
We need urgent answers. And the insurance aspect, Minister of Finance, are the insurance companies responding? Where these accidents are concerned, are they responding? Because people pay third party?
The Prime Minister is expected to provide government position on the matter of accidents early next week. Ivan Kahwa, UBC News at Parliament.
Yes, and that's earlier at Parliament during plenary where the Speaker of Parliament chaired. Literacy educators, researchers and policy makers have urged African governments to promote literacy at all levels. This was observed at the ongoing 11th Pan-African Literacy for All Conference organized by the Reading Association of Uganda. The First Lady and Minister for Education, Janet Museveni, was represented by Minister of State for Primary Education, Rosemary Seninde, and she officially opened the conference in Kampala.
Nurtured by a Blind Mother is a book authored by a 12-year-old amazing Grace Chirabo. At this 11th Pan-African Literacy for All Conference, being held on the theme Literacy, a Bridge to Equity, Grace read out an abstract from the book she has written.
It is now exactly 9 years since she lost her sight. She had never had any eye problems or ailments until around November 2008, when she suddenly became dizzy with severe headache, a stiff neck, and eventually blindness.
Grace was inspired to start writing after her mother became blind when she was 3 years old.
In this book, still I share how my mother becomes a visual artist. Putting down the fact that she was blind, she decided to go on with life and find a way to get school fees for her children.
The First Lady and Minister for Education, Janet Museveni, who was represented by the Minister of State for Primary Education, Rosemary Seninde, said although access to primary education has increased, quality education remains a challenge.
The world or the country would miss her contribution. At her age, you can imagine what will she be and how much contribution will she make when she's grown beyond the age she has now. So I think you see the importance of literacy.
The First Lady says the early grade reading program has helped learners from Primary 1 to Primary 3 to read effectively in the local language. Local and international speakers at the conference called for action-oriented goals to fast-track attainment of the Sustainable Development Goal number 4 on inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning for all.
Let us think that curriculum should be about literacy development.
Our job and the thing we focus on is making sure that research makes it into practice, because otherwise it's just a dusty piece of paper sitting on a shelf.
The participants urged African governments and civil society to focus on access and learning in education. Remija Simbonye, UBC News.
So persons living with HIV worry that Uganda will soon go back to the dark days of the pandemic if there are no policies to reverse the responses towards new infection. Meeting under the umbrella organization of the National Forum for Persons Living with HIV Networks in Uganda welcomes appointment of Engineer Winnie Byanyima to head the UNAIDS Secretariat, saying that this is going to strengthen interventions to scale down prevalence of the deadly epidemic.
In times of joy, in times of sorrow.
Uganda's HIV and AIDS prevalence has reached 7.6%, posing a challenge to advocates of HIV and AIDS prevention who claim the population has become complacent. An executive member of the National Forum of Persons Living with HIV and AIDS Networks in Uganda, Nafofanu Mile Katana, says government needs to redirect resources and information to guard against the disease.
We are so laid back. We think AIDS is no more. Yes, we are on the path to end AIDS, but AIDS is still here. We must not lose our guard. And at a policy level, there is a lot of complacency. As a country, as Uganda.
But there are expectations from the new UNAIDS Executive Director, Engineer Winnie Byanyima. Meanwhile, the Executive Director Nafofanu Nalongo Stella Kentut says that UNAIDS has adhered to global HIV and AIDS targets and strategies, and hopefully the new Executive Director Winnie Byanyima will strengthen the strategies to end HIV.
UNAIDS is known for coining a number of strategies that have helped the countries to adopt, and indeed it has been instrumental in helping us move towards those targets. The first was the 3 zeros: 0 new infections, 0 stigma and discrimination, 0 AIDS-related death.
Representing the young persons living with HIV, Sumaiya Nachimuli is advocating for the strengthening of reproductive health education to the young persons as a measure to reduce sexually related challenges.
So today we would like to take this opportunity to pass on our concerns to Madam Winnie Byanyima. Currently we need better treatment options and a vaccine and cure. Like for the HIV, that we need to include the sexuality education in this education system that we are having right now.
Engineer Winnie Karagwa Byanyima began her career as a champion of marginalized communities and women 30 years ago as a member of parliament in the National Assembly of Uganda. I'm Nafka Farida and Douglas Setumba.
The Commission of Inquiry into Land Matters has condemned the registrar of titles at Jinja Ministerial Zonal Office, Aisha Kandi Kumutima, for failure to give the Minister for Lands, Betty Omongi, professional advice on titling plot 24 Chavazinga Way. Kandi Kumutima testified that she worked under the influence of superiors.
Politics and influence of juniors caused re-entry of plot 24 Chavazinga Way in Jinja. It has been discovered that the Jinja West Member of Parliament Moses Balieku was an agent for an Indian investor J. Patel Mangal to illegally obtain ownership of the contested land, yet the land was under lease by Tirupati Investments Limited.
And I'm told that honorable moves around with army guards and he has an army car. So if an honorable with the army guards is pushing you around, maybe I would want to ask you how you feel when that happens.
There was a lot of pressure on the file, given the fact that they were alleging that this person is an investor.
Before the commission, the Registrar of Titles at the Jinja Ministerial Zonal Office, Aisha Kandi Kumutima, confessed that she was under pressure to act.
Advice did you give a minister who is telling you, who is directing you to do something that you think is not right?
I forwarded the file based on the complaint that was brought to light.
For me, I find that completely dishonest.
Minister for Lands Betty Omongi, Trade and Privatization Minister Evelyn Anite and MP Moses Balieku cheated J. Patel Mangal billions and caused problems to the Jinja District Land Board. But if sued in courts of law, government is most likely to compensate billions to the victims.
And look at the roadmap. The man just wants to establish a shopping mall. How many people has he had to deal with? The councillors, the chairpersons, the land agents, the honorables. Can one now stand firmly and say, yes, here we are proud to be supporting investors to achieve what they want with the minimum effort?
Recently, Uganda had its land system digitized, but it seems access to records on land information systems in the Lands Ministry has remained a myth.
Why do some files take longer and others take such a short time?
The title was being followed up, the Honorable, and they were pushing interests of the purported investor.
Somebody has got money, then the file will be worked on much faster.
No, my lord.
Yes, that's what it is. How much money did Honorable give you to push that file?
Then it seems information remains a preserve of the well-to-do, implying that research, verification and approval will only serve the patient or the wealthy.
And the 2 billion shillings was at large for you people in Jinja to actually play with. And everything that has gone on this file just shows that actually there was an effect. If you were not influenced by something else, what could have influenced all these actions that are irregular, erroneous, illegal?
So Jinja District Land Board may carry the blame issuing an instrument of title to the land in contest. The Commissioner for Land Registration, Robert Opio, also failed to do due diligence because the titling of land was done under his watch.
If documents of this significance can be printed, and the way we print memos and other things, then it's something to be concerned about.
It was really like a general statement. I have a problem. I have a big problem in Jinja about this file.
Finally, the commission discovered that the title issued to J. Patel Mangal is forged. Sudat Kaye, GBC News.
Meanwhile, the Ugandan Nurses and Midwives Council Disciplinary Committee has summoned 74 nurses and midwives from different districts to appear this Wednesday for corrective action. They were summoned to answer cases ranging from misconduct at work, possessing false practicing certificates, to absenteeism.
One is quack nurses. They are nurses who have not gone to school and they masquerade that they are nurses. That's number one, and we have got them. That's why they have summoned them, to prove that they got the certificate from the same council or not. Or when the certificate is from another country, they should have registered within our country in accordance to the law. Then number two, others have forged documents and they said they are nurses. They have not attended any school of nursing school, and they feel they are treating people. Others is indiscipline within handling the patients, harassing patients. Others may be issues like absenteeism or dodging duties or mismanagement of hospital equipment. Such kind of thing is one of among the other things that they discipline nurses according.
President Yoweri Museveni has offered 150 million shillings to support 30 families of persons who lost their lives in the Sunday fuel tanker inferno. The president also donated food and household items to the bereaved families. Let's take a look.
President Yoweri Museveni has given 150 million shillings to families of victims who died in the Sunday evening fuel tank inferno at Chambrai in Lubirizi district. Minister for General Duties in the Office of the Prime Minister, Mary Carol Kurot, represented the head of state with a condolence message to the bereaved families. The 30 families also received household items and foodstuffs. At the same function, Bunyaruguru County Member of Parliament requested government for more firefighting equipment at every district, as well as training the locals to support them during fire emergencies.
omuntu agenda fera side z'okwo kuzakaterera kogwe amina rwarokwe nigo ko batana ina nabantu bakutwara abantu abugamba abako motoka tuzukikayo winana kuyitu eri unique nani kushaba inzagar kanchi presenting tukore demande abokuba his excellency takachihira manifesto ekizere kita kirumu.
30 people lost their lives on Sunday when a truck carrying fuel failed to negotiate a sharp corner, lost control before bursting into flames. Meanwhile, there was a requiem service for the victims of the inferno.
Such an unfortunate turn of events, but the government has come through for some of these people. The judiciary has clarified the alleged move of banning cameras in courtrooms. This was after a local publication quoted the Chief Justice Bat Katurebe being behind the planned move. The judiciary spokesperson Solomon Mwita says the Chief Justice was quoted out of context and there is no move mooted by the judiciary to this effect.
Earlier on, the Honorable the Chief Justice said he was wrongly quoted by sections of the media when he commented about proposals that were brought by some people that some lawyers are getting into the habit of becoming press conference lawyers, that they come to court to argue their cases, but when they see cameras, now they start addressing the cameras. So someone had brought a proposal that should we just exclude cameras in the courts? That is an issue that the Honorable the Chief Justice had commented about, but he was wrongly quoted by sections of the media that he had ordered the banning of cameras in the courts, which is not true. Our position is courts are supposed to be open. Cases are supposed to be heard in open court, unless the presiding judge or magistrate decides that the matter is heard in camera for one reason or another. Once cases are, if the position is courts are supposed to be open, then the public is free to enter any courtroom, sit in, follow cases, and the public includes the media. The media can capture anything in a courtroom and transmit it to the public, as long as they do so without antagonizing or disrupting the hearing of the cases. So we want to address all this. We will be properly accrediting media people who come to courts. When we accredit them, we will make sure that everything proceeds normally without anyone disrupting anyone.
Meanwhile, Bunyoro region has received a 1.3 billion shilling boost to better education standards in primary schools. 54,000 pupils from 100 primary schools will benefit from this money. Dennis Olak from Link Community Development Uganda says 3 districts of Hoima, Budisa and Chikube will benefit from the 3-year project.
100 primary schools in the Bunyoro region have received 1.3 billion boost to enhance standards in the government primary schools. The district education officer Bulisa, Christopher Biencha, says Hoima, Bulisa and Chikube will benefit from the fund.
The teachers whom we are getting use are not enough. Our ceiling requires us to have 457 teachers, but we only have 390 something.
The funds will be used for monitoring and capacity building, improving participatory schools' performance, resource allocation, and advocacy processes. Muhumza Godfrey, the head teacher at Chisansha Primary School, attributes poor performance to hunger where pupils go whole day without meals.
Here in 2013, I found P6 on studying under a mango tree. So there was inadequate teaching, but around 2014 there, we put up the other shade.
According to statistics with UNEB, in the 20 years, 43 out of 100 pupils who started primary school in the country dropped out before completing primary 7.
Heroism and bravery differ, but persons who are heroes go beyond what is expected of them, risking life and limb to benefit others. Corporal Emily Chasimire, a UPDF peacekeeper deployed in Somalia, is putting a selfless aspect to heroism. Her task is to evacuate injured soldiers and civilians in need of urgent medical care in Somalia.
Corporal Emricha Simire is a woman like no other. And when she was first deployed in Somalia to serve as an African Union peacekeeper, she was quick to take up the role in the medical evacuation department when need arose. The UPDF officer is oftentimes found seated in the cabin of her ambulance or besides it, ready to respond to emergencies.
Aloja.
She's on call 24 hours a day, which to her is both a blessing and a challenge.
Me, I love driving. Yeah, driving is my passion. It takes my stresses away. Whenever I'm driving, I'm happy. Yeah, and being in a mission area, I love saving people's lives. I love evacuating patients, mostly those ones in critical condition. Yeah, when I bring them like on that speed, they work on them, and tomorrow I see them moving very healthy. It's my happiness. I feel happy.
In a conflict environment where the number of casualties arising from security-related incidents is high, an ambulance driver plays a critical role as his or her actions can to some extent determine the survival of the injured.
Is that AMOR is on standby, 24 hours standby. However, I see like it gives me chance to keep alert being in a mission area. AMOR is ready to respond on any emergency that may come out.
My patient, what's up?
Corporal Chasimire is one of the many female peacekeepers serving in AMISOM who are making positive contributions towards peace and security in Somalia. Over the years, AMISOM has been lobbying for more female peacekeepers to underpin the important role women play in peace building and to serve as champions in protecting women's rights in Somalia.
In 2008 was very dire. There were no hospitals to talk about. There was gross insecurity. There was the capital Mogadishu was isolated from the rest of the country. There was a lot of lawlessness in the areas outside, which wouldn't allow any humanity.
Brigadier General Michael Kavango is no stranger to Somalia, having served in various capacities prior to taking over as the UPDF contingent commander in December 2018. According to him, the humanitarian situation in Somalia has seen remarkable changes since AMISOM arrived in 2007. Kavango cites the expulsion of the militant group Al-Shabaab from Mogadishu in 2011 and the eventual opening of key main supply routes as the game changer.
The war we are fighting against the Al-Shabaab is counterinsurgency. The population is the most important element. If we don't take care of them, then they don't need us. We need to make sure they cooperate with us. And the only way you can do it is by showing understanding of their needs. The job we do is a service.
The African Union mission in Somalia continues to implement programs aimed at improving the lives of residents who have for long suffered due to conflict and instability. The programs include free medical camps, food donations, sinking of boreholes, construction of police stations and schools, and rehabilitation of roads, among others.
Well, with that, we'll take a quick break. When we return, business news. You're watching News Tonight.
Every dream has a challenging journey. Ours began in 1998. With a mission to drive the development of a robust communications sector in Uganda, we created structures to champion the dream. We've evolved, made discoveries, supported great minds, empowered Ugandans, and fostered a vibrant culture, enabling communication for all. Down the years, we've created memories and networks, uniting generations, and building great partnerships. Together, we can go even further. UCC, celebrating 20 years of achievements.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Pain Arena. Introducing on the right corner, Mr. Action, the reigning heavyweight champion in the ring against
the Headache, the number one contender. And the bell rings.
Headache charges forward with a steady right and a left hook. Action dodges. He misses out with an inch. Wait a minute. Mr. Action launches back with a kick. The final blow. He is out.
If symptoms persist, seek medical advice.
Welcome to the first ever Uganda-Tanzania Business Forum and Exhibition taking place on the 4th and the 5th of September 2019 at the Julius Nyerere International Convention Center in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. Come and explore new business and investment opportunities. Come and participate in open plenary discussions on finance, bilateral trade, infrastructure, extractives, and their challenges before the heads of state, government ministers, and policy makers, as well as showcasing your products and services at the business exhibition. Registration is now open. Log on to www.businessforum.biz today and register to participate in the 2019 Uganda-Tanzania Business Forum. Call us on 752-470-214 Uganda, and for Tanzania 784-323-068. The Uganda-Tanzania Business Forum is organized by and is proudly sponsored by.
Have you completed Senior 4 or Senior 6 and you want to do a 2-year certificate or a diploma course? Makerere Institute for Social Development, an affiliate to Makerere Business School, offers programs in accounting and finance, business administration, procurement and supplies management, social work and social administration, information technology, counseling and guidance, human resource, project planning and management, journalism, secretarial studies, and many others. We are located on Sir Apollo Kegwa Road, next to Oilcom Petrol Station, with a UBTEP Center number.
Nabubi yazimba kumutya muwanvu enkuba yatonya nabubi yakwa
Welcome to the first ever Uganda-Tanzania Business Forum and Exhibition taking place on the 4th and the 5th of September 2019 at the Julius Nyerere International Convention Center in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. Come and explore new business and investment opportunities. Come and participate in open plenary discussions on finance, bilateral trade, infrastructure, extractives, and their challenges before the heads of state, government ministers, and policy makers, as well as showcasing your products and services at the business exhibition. Registration is now open. Log on to www.businessforum.biz today and register to participate in the 2019 Uganda-Tanzania Business Forum. Call us on 752-470-214 Uganda, and for Tanzania 784-323-068. The Uganda-Tanzania Business Forum is organized by and is proudly sponsored by. Forget the long line hassle. With 1xBet, the power of placing the perfect bet is at your fingertips. Bet anytime from anywhere. Best of all, payment is instant. Place your bet on whatever you choose. Virtual games, bet games, sports, and even live betting. Winning has never been this simple. Bet with 1xBet. Advanced gaming is regulated by the Lotteries and Gaming Regulatory Board. Betting is addictive and can be psychologically harmful, and it's only eligible to persons above 18 years of age.
Welcome back. You're still watching News Tonight. I'm Rhoda Ngonzi, on sign language Mugalu Mohammed. Now on business news, Zabo Group of companies owned by a Germany-based Ugandan Dr. David Alobo has initiated a protocol to put up a multi-billion shilling 50 megawatt solar power plant in Lira district. The project will cover 250 acres in Ogura and Aler parishes. It will be completed in December 2020. Upon completion, the Lira project will override the Kabulasoke solar power project in Gomba district, which is currently the biggest solar power generation plant in East, Central and Southern Africa, with an output of 20 megawatts and is on 120 acres of land. We have that story.
Companies owned by a German-based Ugandan, Dr. David Alobo, has initiated a protocol to put up a multi-billion shillings 50 megawatt solar power plant in Lira district that will cover 250 acres in Ogura and Aler parishes, whose completion is slated for December 2020. Upon completion, the Lira project will override the Kabulasoke solar power project, which is currently the biggest solar power generation plant in East, Central and Southern Africa, whose output is 20 megawatts and is on 120 acres of land in Gomba district. This follows a special Lira Council sitting which passed a resolution on the 11th of July 2019 to implement the multi-billion shilling solar power project in Iwal sub-county. While leading 33 persons, Lira Council and field officers on a guided appraising tour of Kabulasoke Solar Power Park in Gomba District, Lira District Chairperson Alex Oremo Alot said that this would be the best avenue to boost industrialization in Lira City Council of small and medium-scale factories and give jobs to the youth of the area, and also attract tourists and fetch incomes for Lira District and the government in general.
Lira District local government has come up to take up this kind of project because the chairman came here during the commissioning by His Excellency the President. So when I represented Lira and Lango sub-region, I was impressed with the project. So I lobbied my councillors and all of us unanimously accepted we need this solar project by Sabu in Lira district.
He expressed optimism that Lira City Solar Project will supply reliable and stable power to neighboring districts like Dokolo, Oyam, Gulu, and Apache districts to create a new industrial hub whose enterprises will mostly be managed by the youth, which will solve redundancy and unemployment. Alexa Oremo expressed optimism that the Lira project will be a total success, since many councillors thought the Kabulasoke project was a myth, hence the decision to bring all councillors to Gomba district, adding that accruing community programs with social corporate responsibility like schools, construction, repair of water, and health facilities will take a root, as is the current situation in Gomba district. Gomba district chairperson Lieutenant Godfrey Chiviri said that Uganda is blessed to have own citizens who can invest in such huge ventures for the well-being of the people, adding that if 4 investors of the stature of Dr. Alobo were strategically placed in the 4 corners of the country to implement the Kabulasoke and Lira projects, power shortages will be eliminated, since we receive solar energy which is clean and reliable all year round. Lira Council Speaker Opio Rashid admitted with regret that the Lira program should have commenced before Kabulasoke, since even the Zabo proprietor hails from their area. But given the fragile nature of land issues in Lango, its implementation was always postponed. Reporting for UBC TV News, Stephen Kanakulia, Sempa.
On the international scene, more than 60,000 traders in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC, who cross the border regularly into Rwanda and Uganda are to be vaccinated to curb Ebola. Cases recorded recently in the Congolese trading hub of Goma, which is on Rwanda's border, and have rather raised concerns of cross-border spread. According to Jean Muyembe, the coordinator of the Ebola response in DR Congo, where the virus has killed more than 1,900 in the last year, health authorities in Rwanda have also ordered 100,000 doses of the vaccine for a similar campaign targeting traders. Over the last month, Rwandan border officials have been limiting the number of traders they allow over to Goma each day. It is not clear when the mass vaccination campaign will start. Dr. Muyembe said that after vaccinating across cross-border traders, response teams would then expand vaccination to whole villages where Ebola cases are confirmed. The experimental vaccine to be used is backed by several international health experts, including the World Health Organization, but has sparked some controversy in DR Congo.
Has killed.
Boris Johnson has told the EU that the backstop plan for the Irish border must be scrapped because it is enviable and anti-democratic. The Prime Minister said the backstop, which aims to avoid a hard border, risked undermining the Northern Irish peace process. If the plan were removed, Johnson claimed the Brexit deal would be passed by Parliament, but Brussels has not yet responded. However, the EU has consistently insisted the backstop must remain part of the withdrawal agreement and cannot be changed. Johnson's full-page letter to Tusk comes ahead of meetings this week with German Chancellor Angela Merkel and French President Emmanuel Macron. The backstop is a position of last resort. It's a position of last resort to guarantee that, but if implemented, it would see Northern Ireland stay aligned to some rules of the EU single market. It would also involve a temporary single customs territory, effectively keeping the whole of the UK in the EU customs union.
Brought to you by Bet with 1xBet.
Now, the Commissioner General of Prisons, Dr. Johnson Byabashaija, has flagged off the athletics team from Uganda prisons for the All Africa Games 2019. The Games, to take place in Morocco starting that's 26th this month, features the best sporting nations in Africa for athletes that include Uruku Stella Akulo to compete in the 400-meter rest, bet Esther in the 1,500 meters, Chamongez Felix for the half marathon, and Adoli Harun in 400 meters. As the practice of the force, these have been given $100 each, and good performance is likely to call for rank promotion.
Athletes for the National Africa Games. The President of the Republic of Uganda, General Yoweri Museveni, made a policy directive that the forces should be the home of the athletes. And in prisons we have continued that policy. Every year we recruit to enforce our ranks. And remember that the prison is the current inter-forces champion, athletics champion. Okay? Yeah. So I expect these athletes to do very well in, is it Morocco? Yeah, in Morocco.
Okay, in the preparation, we have been training them. We have field events, we have 2 ladies, and then the track, 400 meters, we have a relay, So our preparation, we started the preparation on the 1st of August, preparing for them for all these games.
So I give it a year, then I'll train hard for that. I know I will take that national record anytime from now. I'm going to work out for it.
I think basically it is my target for World Championship, because I think with the facilities that I'm getting, with the, like, not that I don't appreciate what we have here, but I think what we are going to have there, it's the best where people compete from, where the Diamond League, and I think that's where they get quickest time. So I see I can qualify from.
Ugandan league clubs competing at continental level are in action this Friday and Saturday, respectively. KCCA AFC host African Stars of Namibia, while Proline play Master Security of Malawi. Let's take a look.
KCCA will be hoping they can maintain their unbeaten CAF record at Lugogo and overturn a 3-2 away loss against Namibia's African Stars when both sides meet at StarTimes Stadium, Lugogo, on Friday. African Stars are in the country ahead of their CAF Champions League return leg game. On arrival at Entebbe International Airport, coach Muhammad Fago assured readiness for the game.
The only thing I am of is that we are really coming here to give KPC a very good match.
A contingent of 30 people are now residing at Fairway Hotel, awaiting their training session at the StarTimes Stadium in Lugogo. Meanwhile, Proline FC are set to travel this Thursday for their return leg game away to Master Security of Malawi. Proline comes to the Saturday game with a 3-0 advantage, hoping to maintain their lead as well as progress to the next round of the CAF Confederation Cup. Proline are currently managed by a new coach, Matia Lule, who took on office early this week. Ngabo Amon, reporting for UBS TV.
After triumphing against former world kickboxing champion Moses Golola has been recognized by the Parliament of Uganda. Golola Moses was congratulated by the Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Jacob Olanya. He presented his WKF belt as a symbol of triumph. The Deputy Speaker thanked him for representing Uganda well, calling on him to pass on his skills to the young ones.
Champions of the century. Yeah! It's not the person many people think he is. A lot of people actually don't know who Moses Golola is. He's a kind man, he's a family man, but he loves to inspire the young people. That is his calling. He loves to inspire the young people to join activities that make them productive and engage in those activities that does not make them begin, being funny. And we had set up some programs to hold regional things together with him to see how we can get the youth more involved in sports activities, not just boxing, not just kickboxing, but any of the other sports that they feel comfortable doing. So Moses Golola is a great inspiration, and his victory certainly has elevated. Because he's no longer very young to be a fighter. Yes. Many of the fighters are much younger than he is. And you know that when you get older, you always have challenges with the fights. You're a bit.
And with that, let's quickly take a recap of our headlines. On driving school. HIV/AIDS advocates decry stagnating prevalence. Welfare engineer Winnie Byanyima. On the international scene, UK Prime Minister says backstop must be scrapped. And in sports, Uganda Prison's athletics team leave for All Africa Games in Morocco. And that does it. Thank you for sticking with us through the hour. Mugalu Muhammad on sign language. I am Rhoda Ngonzi. We'll leave you with the weather updates. Hello again. Once again, I want to welcome you to the Weather Center. My name is Molin Kenyana, and we shall remember that the weather report is courtesy of Uganda National Meteorological Authority. Well, lately we've seen a pickup in wet weather conditions across most areas within our country, and this could be an early sign of the seasonal rain. So please do look out for our daily weather reports only here on UBC. Now we start off with our 24-hour report. Well, according to the available data, we had Arua reporting the highest amount of rainfall. That was 38.2 millimeters. We also had a total of 10 millimeters from Gulu. Now looking at our satellite, we see that the rain belt is still widely spread across most areas. That explains the rains that we have across most parts of the country. Now tomorrow in the morning, we're likely to start off the day with a very pleasant morning. We will see mostly intervals of sunny and cloudy conditions, and those will be across most areas within our country. At the same time, we are likely to have light showers that will be across the northwestern. Now later in the afternoon, we shall see mostly rainy conditions. That will be across the Lake Victoria Basin, extending all the way up to eastern Uganda, as well as parts of the north, and we shall also be seeing some light rains across parts of western Uganda. Now elsewhere, we will have mostly intervals of sunny and cloudy conditions. Move over to our daytime high, where we're seeing that we have a maximum of 27 that will be across Kampala. We'll still have a warm day across Kasese, although we will likely to have some of those rains in the afternoon. Temperatures will still be maintained at 29 degrees centigrade, and we'll have a maximum of 25 across Kabale. The rest of the country temperatures will be in upper 20s. Move on to some of the world cities where we're forecasting sunny intervals across Kigali as well as Nairobi. We'll have a daytime high of 27 across Nairobi, but a very cold night. Temperatures will be at 16, and we're likely to have rains across Abuja. Temperatures will be up to 28 in the afternoon. And with that, we come to the end of today's weather report. Thank you very much for joining us. For more information, please do not hesitate to visit our website. My name is Molin Kenyana. Have a good day tomorrow.
Was brought to you by UCC, celebrating 20 years of achievements.